Hello and welcome to InnerMedia. I'm Josh Karam and with me is Ted Karam, and today's going to be kind of a continuation podcast in a way. We talked about Inception last time.
Yes.
And now I think it's very important that we dive into one of the things that really inspired Inception in my opinion, which is The Matrix. Which, let's start diving really in, because we talked about Inception. It's about they're going into the dream world and back out, but what if we were in the dream world the whole time?
Yeah.
We are in the Matrix.
The Matrix.
So not only is Tenet really big, really hyped, great Christopher Nolan thing, but also The Matrix 4 was filming in Berlin this year.
Oh, was it really?
But due to COVID and things, delays in filming, and now it's expected to pick back up again and probably be released sometime in 2022. But The Matrix 4 is going to be upon us soon. We're going to go back into the Matrix. We're going to figure out again what is the Matrix. So let's get right into this. We're going to start with this Master, Wizard, and Jedi quote thing going on, and with another great master. Actually, we're going to be repeating Morpheus again here. So, I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. So, Neo, first off, let's just say, spoiler alert, starts here. We're going to get into The Matrix, the entirety of the first Matrix.
If you haven't seen it, definitely
watch
check it out. It's been around for, 21 years or a little over 20 years?
1999, right? So 21 years now. That's crazy. Yeah. Whew, man. Yeah, so go ahead and watch it.
Great stuff in it. Yeah.
So, Neo is a hacker, and he doesn't like believing the world around him until Morpheus shows him that there is more to this world because they are in the dream world, and it's about him learning the truth of his reality and what is the Matrix. So written by the Wachowskis, directed by the Wachowskis, Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving, Lawrence Fishburne, a lot of great people. But there's so much to talk about. Like, watching this movie, I mean, I've seen it so many times now, but just watching it again recently, I was blown away.
Yeah, you see something different every time.
It is amazing. I love movies like that. So I think we should start off with really diving into the beginning of this movie. And we talked about this with Inception because I think it's really important to talk about this. So, have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream, Neo? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? What is the Matrix? Let's just go on this. Let's just start.
How
what
do
is
we
the
know?
Matrix? Yeah.
It's the movie starts off with on Neo's on his computer late at night, and it says, "Wake up, Neo."
Wake up,
the
Neo.
Matrix it's like, what? Wake up? Wake up from what? What do you mean wake up? And I mean, this is a great movie full of deep spiritual truths, a lot of opportunities to glean a deeper nature of being, and then be able to apply ourselves in a whole new way to be more efficient, more effective in life. So wake up, Neo. Have you ever had a dream that was so real you couldn't tell the difference between the dream world and the real world? And how would you be able to know the difference? And really, sometimes life feels like that to us. And so, one of the most important things, I think, is his question there: what is real?
What is real?
What is real? How do you define real? Is real just what we perceive through our senses, right? What we can see, what we can taste and smell and touch? Because if it is, Morpheus says something like, that's just electrical signals being interpreted by your brain. And that we've talked about that, how our these body suits are literally vibrational energy transducers. They're frequency transcoders. We take in vibrational energy only in very small bandwidths. Only the eyes only see in a very small bandwidth. Our ears only hear in a very narrow spectrum. In our what we can touch and taste and smell, and that all that information comes up into our brain, and our brain interprets it or translates it into form. So where is sight born? It's in the mind. Where do we hear sounds? We don't. There's just waves of energy in the air, but they're translated into sound. Where? In our brains. So where the picture of the world is created, where we experience the entire world, is inside our head. And what the Matrix, what they're talking about here is there's more to the world. There's more to life than what we're perceiving. There's far more, as a matter
Yeah.
of fact. There's an infinite range of vibration and realities and dimension, and we're filtering a very, very small part. Imagine like we're driving down the road and our windshield is covered completely. And you can't see anything, but there's this little slice of clear window where you can look out. And through that little bit of information, you determine where, I mean, hopefully you can drive, but you determine the landscape, the world around you. And you try and navigate through that little tiny bit of information. And yet so much more is available to us. So Neo's learning that there's far more to reality and to him than meets the eye. And then he goes through the training, right? The kung fu. The kung fu. So then he goes through this whole process of learning that he can change himself, change the neural networks in his brain, his body chemistry. He can literally become a different person by going through the training program with Tank, right? So they go through a kung fu and self-defense program. There was a great moment in all of that as well, where if you remember, he realizes he knows kung fu after just laying in a chair for 5 minutes and a few hours and being reprogrammed. So what happened to him when he was being reprogrammed?
Yeah.
He literally, like a stage hypnotist would do with a subject, he went into a trance state. He goes into alpha and then theta. The subconscious door opens. There's access now to the programming, and they laid new subconscious programs.
Yeah.
As if he did it and spent all those years practicing the forms and learning and evolving. It was like that, and now he has that fight with Morpheus, to prove that he knows kung fu.
And he's able to be fast. He's able to move his fists at speeds that are uncomprehendable as well.
Yeah.
So this is when he's out of the Matrix. Morpheus takes him out. They go down the rabbit hole. He takes the red pill, and even though Cypher says, why, oh, why didn't I take the blue pill? Neo took the red pill. So
we all say that at times.
He's able to, because of course we know, you talk about this already, that athletes, if you hook them up to a machine and you measure their brain waves and they imagine they're running, the same exact process is happening while they're actually running.
Right.
Your mind can't tell the difference. And that happens in The Matrix, too. Marion Cotois' character, when she shoots Joseph Gordon-Levitt, she says the mind can't distinguish pain between the real world and the... So, but I guess the point that I'm getting at is, so he learns Kung Fu.
Yep.
He never did Kung Fu before.
No.
But when the leap comes, he can't do it. So the idea of this is Morpheus tells him during this training, free your mind.
Free your mind.
Because he's still basically confined by the rules of the world that he believes.
That he's adopted.
Yeah.
Right. That we all have adopted.
So how do we break it to a sense where we can do a leap? I mean, Kung Fu seems hard enough, but...
Yeah. Well, it's a great question, because we're all up against some limit in our lives, whether it has to do with our health or whether it has to do with our health, our relationships, our finances, our ability to be creative, our ability to bring answers and solutions. And so we're all up against our own self-imposed limitations. These are the limitations of the subconscious programming. And so, as we awaken to the deeper dimensions of our being, as we awaken to greater dormant abilities and faculties that we have of perception, of energy, and when we change that energy just through our interaction, our thoughts and feelings, as we've talked about, how it actually affects the world around us, because the world around us is like a mirror, and the energy that we broadcast out comes back to us. It reflects off the mirror. As we sow, so shall we reap. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So we're constantly seeing a reflection of our own inner vibration. And so there's an awakening process, and Neo goes through it, and he all of a sudden he knows Kung Fu, and he knows things, he can do things he never could do before, because Tank in that training, right? We all go through retraining. What is it? It's reconditioning the subconscious programs. And so he experiences that, and he realizes this stuff works. This really works. But then he doesn't make the jump, right?
He doesn't make the jump.
But that's the way it is in life, no matter what, because you see, we're infinite beings. So no matter what, we're going to come to a realization, and then another realization, and then another realization of our wholeness, our connectedness, our effectiveness in the world. But we're infinite beings, so it goes on forever. So learning, growth, and development does not end. It does not end here. We're not here to just be done with it and wrap it up in a bow. It's a constant state of evolution and evolving. Even the masters, even beings like that walk down water and heal the dead, and are evolving into unity, into oneness, and it's an infinite process. So a key reminder here is, as we have experiences and we feel more empowered and we feel more alive and we feel awakened and the energy starts to flow and we start to feel the real you start to feel the real you, your true self, that we'll take a couple steps forward and we'll take a step back. There's always falling back, there's always forward and back, and to be kind, to be gentle, to be patient with yourself, especially if you thought you got over that one, or I can't believe that's up here again for me, this old relationship or this old limitation or whatever. Invite it in as if you welcomed it. Embrace it. Don't push or pull on it. And again, it's there. Why? Because it's purging from your system. It's not something that is wrong or bad, or it's all growth, it's all development, it's all unfoldment, and will be unfolding forever. It doesn't end, because we're infinite beings. So
we're always we're bending. We're learning how to free our mind.
Yes, like the water benders,
like all the benders of Avatar. So let's move on. We're talking about bending, so we're going to go a little bit further into the story here. But in between, we obviously have Cypher, who's convorting with Agent Smith, and he talks about, Morpheus does explain, there are some people that are a slave to the Matrix. They just are fine, and as Cypher says, ignorance is bliss. The steak, it's gonna taste good, but man, ignorance is bliss. It's great because, he just wants to be an actor back in the system, and Agent Smith is like,
whatever you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to him.
Remember that. Whatever we want. It really is true. But we've got to believe it. In fact, more than believe it, we've got to know it. We've got to be it. Go. So that was a great scene.
So it's time for Neo to see the Oracle. So everybody gets jacked into the Matrix, and they go to visit the Oracle. And there's a couple great things that happen in the Oracle scene. That quote that I was talking about with the door from the beginning, that is the beginning of the Oracle scene. Yeah. But so Neo goes in and he sees all the other kids with the chosen ability, those who understand
the potentials.
Exactly, the potentials, the kids that know that this world is a little more than what the Matrix is making them try to believe.
Their senses are expanded.
Yes, and my philosophy teacher back when I was in school told me this all the time because he loves the spoon scene. So do not try to bend the spoon, that's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon. There is no spoon? I'm trying to do a Keanu thing there. Yeah. I know Kung Fu, it's the best. Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself. Which, that's
profound wisdom.
Always gets me. It always gets me.
If you take nothing away from this movie, that's one of the key. So what are we all trying to do in life?
What's this bending?
Well, again, we'll come back to the bending principle. What we're all trying to do in life is do what? We're trying to reach out there and change our world. We're trying to change that situation, this person, this circumstance, because when all that changes, we'll feel better inside. But remember, that's like reaching out into our bathroom mirror in the morning, and we don't like the way our hair looks, or we don't like something, and we try and reach out and change the way we look in the mirror. We need to change. To really make change, we need to change the source of that reflection, which is ourself. So what's the spoon? The spoon is anything we want to change in the world outside of us. Forgetting that, wait, as we sow, so shall we reap. As we project, and as we think, and as we vibrate, and as we radiate, that's what's coming back to us in the mirror of life. To remember that truth, that we change from the inside out, right? Mahatma Gandhi, here we go again, right? Be the change, right? So how do we free our minds? How do we get beyond fear, doubt, and disbelief? How do we break that chain, break that state, and get into that place of empowerment, of being in the flow of life, in the zone? How do we free our minds? we need to remember. We need, we need to remember to remember to remember. Life is like a mirror. We don't, the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, apply it here. That's the whole spoon thing, right? Don't try and fix that, achieve that, get there without changing yourself as well. Okay, so there's outer action we're taking in the world, but at the same time we need to take that inner action, which is realizing how much we are influencing our own experience of reality, our own perceptions. So don't try to bend the spoon, realize the truth. There is no spoon. Don't try and change that person, realize the truth that what you're seeing in that person out there or that circumstance out there is what you're projecting upon it.
Yeah.
So don't give your power away to that, to this thing, to that situation, to that person. No. Stay in your power, which means stay here now in the present moment and realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon.
There is no
Life
spoon.
is a mirror. Okay, it's not out there. And what changes? You change. You become the change, as you become the change, as Mahatma Gandhi said. So you change yourself. What? You become the vibration that you wish to see reflected back to you in the mirror of the world. So how do you do that? I mean, there's a couple of ways, simple ways. You know, you no longer feed the programs that are running. The programs of separation, lack, and limitation. The matrix. You don't keep feeding the matrix. You don't give it your life energy as a battery. You don't keep feeding this collective, neural, interactive system of separation, lack, and limitation. What the world, what we as human beings perceive in mass consciousness, you no longer feed that by pushing and pulling on that, by reacting to it, by trying to change it, fight it. You come home here and now in this moment and you realize there is no spoon. All I need to do is change myself. Let me start with me. Let me become the change. As Gandhi said, let me be the change. Let me become the vibration that I wish to see reflected back to me in the mirror of life.
Yeah. No, exactly. The matrix. It is us moving through the matrix, realizing that there is no spoon.
There is no spoon.
And there is no spoon's going to keep coming back up.
Yeah.
It always comes back up.
But it's so hypnotic. We are hypnotized into believing in separation, lack, and limitation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a collective consciousness. It's the matrix.
It is the matrix.
And so it takes systematic deprogramming. In other words, we need to be able to access that part of ourselves where we can actually affect change. You know, remember Neo said, I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my own destiny, right? I mean, that's beautiful. And none of us like that idea. We like to know that because there's a part of us that never forgets. There's a part of us that always remember. The spirit in you knows. No matter how deep you go in unconsciousness, all of us do, no matter how much we forget, it knows the truth. It knows that we are the one, that we are whole and complete beyond the illusion of separation.
Yeah, definitely. And we're talking about destiny, so let's move over. We're in the Oracle right now. Let's move over into the kitchen. So Neo enters, and the Oracle says, don't worry about the vase. And Neo says, what vase? And knocks over the vase.
That's just like Master Oogway, right?
Exactly. It's just like Master Oogway. Kung Fu Panda's going to come up at some
Yeah.
point, too. It's all about destiny.
Destiny. You know, what was the saying from Kung Fu Panda again? We tend to meet our destiny on the path we take to avoid it.
Exactly.
The energy that we're sending out, we need it.
So the Oracle says that vase, and Neo says, I'm sorry. And she said, I said, don't worry about it. I'll get one of my kids to fix it. How did you know? Here's the kicker. Oh, what's really going to bake your noodle later on is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything? So the path and destiny, this idea of destiny. Now we know Neo's character is all about the idea of he doesn't believe in fate, and he believes he is the creator and in control of his own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we were talking to Grace, my sister, about this. What does that mean, though? Would it have still been broken if she hadn't said anything? What is the testimony or the statement of destiny there? What does that mean?
You know, Carl Jung, he's an eminent psychologist. He had a statement, I love it. His quote was, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate or destiny. In other words, are we living at the effect of the world? In other words, do our surroundings control us? or do we control our surroundings? Both are true.
Okay.
And it depends on, choice is a function of awareness. Remember we talked about that before? So choice is a function of awareness. And what happens is if we don't realize, if we don't have the awareness, the consciousness, if we're not expanded, if we're not elevated in our awareness, we don't see and have direct experiences of, oh my God, the way I'm feeling, the way I'm thinking is actually changing the interactions I'm having with people and the circumstances that are unfolding. You know, sometimes you just hit all the green lights and life just flows. You're in the zone and everything's perfect. And then other days it seems like you want to stay in bed. You should have stayed in bed because nothing's going right. And it just seems to get worse, right? It's all our vibration. It's all what we bring to it. You know, good luck is what? Being in the right place in the right time, or being persistent for the right length of time. Or is it something even more? Is it being the right vibration? And you draw to you the right place and the right time. You draw the right circumstances, right? You drop those you drop those water drops and the ripples go out, and the orchestration of the universe brings to you that which reflects your energy in the mirror. So on one level, it appears that we are completely controlled by the environment that we live in. And when our consciousness doesn't realize that it has an influence, we believe that and we live into that belief. That becomes real for us. So we get to be right. The booby prize in life is, see, I told you so. See, I'm right. I shouldn't have trusted that person. We shouldn't have done that. And we get to be right. Why? Because our beliefs are the vibration, the lens through which we perceive reality, the energy that we project out. And what do we meet in life? The reflection of that energy. So at one level, we believe it's all fate, it's all destiny. I mean, it's written. Yeah. Then we get glimpses, and you've had these, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this. You would get glimpses that, wait, there's something more. There's something more that can't be explained. There's a bigger picture here, and your awareness starts to expand, and you start to see relationships and interconnectedness. You start to remember wholeness, and then you realize, wait, and dormant abilities get awakened in you, dormant capabilities, and you begin to live more intentionally, more deliberately, instead of reactively in life. And then you begin to realize you do have an influence on reality. So it depends. And then when you become the one, as Neo, when we become whole, completely one with all of life, as that wave upon the ocean, we sink down in the depths of the ocean and we know thyself, the one that we are, then we are in harmony with all of life. And what happens is our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, our heart's truest desire that we wish to see expressed is felt by the whole universe, is felt by the whole ocean, the whole pond, and it brings about that reflection in the waves, the ripples that unfold due to our own vibration. So it depends on where we're at. So we're all in different places, and sometimes we're up here and we come back down, we come back up. But what's great about The Matrix, what's great about this movie, is that it's a reminder of the true influence that we have over our reality, over our perception and experience of reality.
So the Oracle's perception of Neo when he enters, I mean, Neo, the Oracle even calls it out. She says, you don't believe in any of this anyway.
Right. This
so
fake crap,
clearly, I mean, she saw this energy in Neo at the beginning and knew that he was just going to knock over the vase. He's not there right now. He's just somewhere else believing, like...
Right. He's still in a conditioned pattern. There's subconscious programs operating. And so in order to literally change our experience of life, not just our destiny, not just our future, but literally change our past as well. Change everything, because we change the now. When we change ourselves here and now, we change the ripples that go out in all directions, through all dimensions, through all vibration. And so in order to do that, we need to be free. That's why Morpheus was saying, I'm trying to free your mind. Trying to help you free your mind, because he couldn't do it, right? I can only show you the door. You're the one who thinks your thoughts. You're the one who has to change. But, to get beyond the fear, doubt, and disbelief that we experience every day, to stand in that place of empowerment, to stand in that place of alignment with the whole of life, with the truth that radiates from within.
Yeah, the Oracle is also, just going back into Morpheus, the Oracle's there to read you your destiny, back into the plot of the film.
Right.
And Morpheus's destiny was that he was going to find the one. And he believes Neo to be the one, but the Oracle says that Neo isn't the one. Or, maybe another lifetime.
Yeah. You're waiting for something.
Exactly. He is not the one. But Morpheus is convinced that Neo is... Or no, he's not convinced. He knows.
He knows. He's
that
not...
Neo is the one.
He's certain.
Yeah, he's certain.
See, certainty is the key. Yeah.
So the one, I think every movie that we talk about, there's something. The Architect, the Avatar, the Chosen One in Star Wars, the one, the special in the Lego movie.
Yeah, and it's the special.
There's always a case of the one, or this one being of power. So if Neo is told he isn't the one, but in the end everyone believes Neo to be the one. They know Neo to be the one. Neo breaks the rules of the Matrix to become the one. Which I'm thinking about all the scenes where he's bending the rules of reality, which is great. But let's talk about the one now, because the one is clearly something that Neo became.
Yes.
He doesn't believe in fate, but he knew deep down that he was the one, because even when the Oracle was saying it, like, he was getting excited a little bit. Like he was like,
I almost was convinced.
Yeah,
Morpheus almost had me convinced. So this is beautiful. It's a great analogy, and it has to do with the fact that every one of us is the one, right? Every wave upon the ocean has the ability to sink down into the depths of their being, to know thyself, and to know our unity with all that is, to know our one, that we are one. And so, Morpheus, remember, he says, what was said is between the Oracle and you, right? And what was said is exactly what we need to hear.
Yeah.
So again, like in life, we want certain things to happen. I want more love. I want more abundance. I want more prosperity. I want more joy. I want more meaning. I want more specialness. I want to make a difference. And so what we often experience isn't that end result, but what we need to hear, what we need to see, what needs to break down sometimes, what needs to fall away sometimes, what needs to change so that that greater light can shine forth in us. So again, we're not... So we're all potentially the one. We're all potentially the special.
Yeah.
But we, this whole process for Neo is a process of transformation. So if we ask the question, why is it so hard to change? How come, how do we go through the process Neo went through?
Yeah.
Right? Because he went through this transformation. He went from fear, doubt, and disbelief to then believing a little, believing more, and then finally demonstrating, expressing this inner power, this inner strength for him to really bend his reality, reshape and remold his experience. So how do we do that? Something we need to remember, and this is very important, is that it's not within our conscious control.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can think we're the one. Oh, I'm the one, or I'm healthy. I think I'm healthy. I think I'm healthy.
Because that's the kicker,
I think I'm
right
abundant.
there.
I think I'm abundant. I think I'm abundant. What we're usually doing is we're usually just not believing any of that, and we're just trying to put on the surface level. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm abundant. I'm abundant. I'm love. I'm love. I'm healed. I'm healed. All of that. That only reaffirms that we're not.
Exactly, because imagine if the Oracle said, you're the one.
You're the one.
It's the same thing about the vase.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, in other words, we're only reaffirming we're not. I'm not abundant. I'm not whole. I'm not healthy. I'm not loving. I'm not worthy. I'm not, we're just, that's why we can't think it.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. The conscious mind isn't the way to get there. And so, that's why this is such a wonderful, it's the training he went through.
Yeah.
We need to go through something similar to the training. What's the training? Reprogramming our subconscious mind. Reprogram, dissolving those self-limiting programs of separation, lack, and limitation, and reinstalling new programs of courage, of gratitude, of empowerment, of skill sets that we want to have in life. So the key here is realizing you can't think
Mm.
that you're the one. You really have to believe you're the one. And even deeper is you've got to know you're the one. Remember he says, don't think it, know it.
Know it.
When they're doing the kung fu,
Yeah.
you're faster than this or something. Remember they're doing the kung, hit me, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Don't, there is no try, do or do not do, right? Master Yoda. So in other words, we need to be it. So it's not so much a matter of think. This is why it's so hard. This is why it's so difficult sometimes, because we have a certain amount of willpower that is very short-lived and it's very ineffective long-term. So there's willpower that, all right, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to diet. I'm going to treat people better. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to be more optimistic. I'm going to give more. I'm going to work harder. All these things, and it pitters out very quickly.
Yeah.
It's our New Year's resolutions. They last for 2 weeks, and then that's that.
That's true,
We're back to the programs running our lives. That's literally
Yeah.
what happens. Buttons get pushed, and programs run our lives. So the key here, what's beautiful about the Matrix is that training program, right? That's what we need to go through. We need a way to change the programming. Why? Because the programs are running our lives all day long, especially when we feel stressed or worried or anxious or fearful. Program kicks in, takes over.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore. Nobody's home. That's why intelligence goes down when fear goes up. So the bottom line is we need to find a way to access and reprogram the subconscious so that we're no longer thinking we are, fill in the blank, the one, healthy, in love, abundant. We're no longer, we're not just thinking it, we're believing it on a deep level. Not only are we the reason we're believing it is because we know it. We know thyself. We're being it. So it's a matter of coming into that, place where we get into theta brainwave patterns, and our awareness expands, our consciousness is raised, and we move from a perception of ourselves as just being a little ocean on a wave. We sink down into the depths of our being, and we realize we are the ocean of one. We realize we are the one. More truthfully put, we are one with all that is.
Yeah.
We are one.
Mind over matter. You were saying matter, and I think the important thing is Neo is the one, and he truly learns this. I mean, of course, Morpheus and Trinity and all of them have an idea of this, but it goes
and they
back
have the
to
same
the leap.
potential.
Yeah, it goes back to the leap. Not everybody's the leap on the first try because they're not ready to believe that they can do that. So, mind over matter. I just wanted to throw in too. I think it's interesting about the mind and convincing yourself of the Matrix, because Agent Smith earlier on says, did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered? But that's too easy. And that's amazing because people can't be convinced.
No one accepted it.
That you can be the one in that sense. You can break it. So Neo, in the end, through a series of amazingly directed and choreographed scenes, basically finally splits the difference between mind and matter, and isn't affected by bullets or are you telling me that I could dodge bullets and all of that? But because he knows
when you're ready, you won't have to.
You won't have to.
Right. Because what is a bullet? Energy.
Exactly.
What are you? Energy. Go ahead. Yeah. No,
so Neo, he's able to fly. He is able to destroy the agent, the program, and nobody's been able to do that before. He finally separates this idea of mind and matter, which I always loved about the Matrix, because it takes that Inception idea where your mind is, your mind it can't tell the difference between the dream world and the real world.
Right.
But in the Matrix, it is that final enlightenment to go beyond that and figure out this isn't real and I control. Right. And of course we know Neo's boss at the beginning says, you don't like following rules, Mr. Anderson. Well, the rules do apply to you. But he learns they don't, so he becomes the one.
He learns how to bend or break some of those rules.
Yeah.
And again, it has to do, choice is a function of awareness. Ability is a function of awareness. Dormant attributes and abilities that are within us are a function of our vibration, our state of consciousness, who and what we know ourselves to be.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we don't even realize we have a choice, or we don't even we realize we have the ability to make a positive change, because we feel trapped, we feel stuck. And then we just look out there and we blame all of everything out there, our own reflection in the mirror, and it only reinforces our ability that we're trapped and stuck. But yeah, Neo went through the process of self-transformation.
Yeah.
As Mahatma Gandhi would say, he became the change. He transformed. He was no longer the same him.
Yeah.
He actually had different neural networks. When they were going through the training program,
Yeah.
they were installing neural network patterns. They were pruning old patterns and forming new neural synapses and literally changing his brain. Changing and that process is a transformation, a change in who he knows himself to be. One of the hardest things about change, one of the hardest things about letting go. One of the hardest things about becoming the best you, being, allowing yourself to express the deeper you, the real you, the energy, the love, the joy, the magic of the real you. One of the hardest things is the dissolution of who you've known yourself to be. We fight and argue for our limitations. We go to war over our limitations all the time. Why? Because it's who we think we are.
Yeah.
It's who we think we are. So all of our past experience and what we think we've learned in life is stamped in our brains. It's basically the subconscious programs that define us. So one of the most challenging things is going through the death process, the psychological death process, the undoing of who you know yourself to be. And so unconsciously that those programs are running, and on a conscious level we're feeling, oh my God, this is wrong, this is fearful, this is bad, everything doesn't feel right. And what happens is we just kick in and we allow those programs to run and run and run, and we fall back into them as opposed to staying conscious, staying present, overcoming our reactivity. I mean, this is the big in our world today. This is the Matrix. A great reminder: overcome your reactive conditioning. Don't react. There's a new you calling from within, wanting to be expressed, and to allow that new you to express itself, a wholer you, a more powerful you, a more healthy you, a more enlivened you, a you that's connected with the whole, a you that is the one, that is one with all that is. We constantly, all day long, will be challenged to overcome our limitations, overcome our self-imposed limitations. And how do we know we're up against one? We don't feel good. We feel frustrated, we feel angry, we feel hurt, we feel fear, we feel worried, we feel anxious, we feel depressed. Any negative emotion is saying we're not in alignment with the real within us. And so that's when you don't want to react. You don't want to yell at someone. You don't want to argue with someone. We're only arguing for our own limitations. We want to listen. We want to open our hearts. We want to enter the present moment. We want to breathe. We want to get still. We want to be here now. Enter the grace of this moment. And then not react like a puppet on a string, but bring the best, respond from the best within us, and bring forth the best of what we are.
Yeah. I mean, the Oracle even says it means to know thyself when she points to the thing on top.
The ancient
I want to tell you a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one needs to tell you are in love. You just know it through and through. It's not only taking a positive emotion and relating to it, but exactly, yeah. We need to know. We can't,
know. And where we really know, where you'll truly know, is within. So remember we mentioned this one time, when we don't know thyself, when we're not knowing we're the one, we're not connected with the whole of being, we need the mirror. I need you to tell me I'm okay. I need you to tell me I'm worthy. I need you to tell me I'm valuable. I need you to tell me I'm good enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, whatever it is. We need the reflections in the mirror, the people and the circumstances to tell us we're okay. Yeah. But no one can tell you you're in love.
No, that's true.
No one can tell you who you really are. In other words, we need that reflection in the mirror until we find the connection within ourselves to our true nature, to the one that we are, and then we know. Yeah. Then we're being. How do we know? Because we're being it. So we don't look for approval and recognition. We don't look for the world to tell us who we are and to say we're okay. We're too busy being ourselves. We're too busy being it. You're too busy being the real you and expressing it. And so there's a freedom in that, for you to just be what you are.
So the freedom. Let's just bake the noodle for a little bit here, as the Oracle would say. The end. Neo is able to fly. he knows he is in the Matrix, and he truly is able to overcome the rules that are put in place. And that's how he's able to beat the agents and everything. But we can clearly relate our world that we're living into some kind of Matrix. So let's get philosophical here. What are we doing to be the one? What can we do to be the one in the Matrix?
Yeah, no, great.
What is our way of breaking the Matrix?
Yeah, we all want to. That's because we all want our heart's truest desire to be expressed in the world. See it reflected in the mirror of space and time.
Yeah.
So step one, every day, watch your reactivity. In other words, become conscious of your reactions.
Yeah.
Especially pay attention to whenever negative feeling arises in you. Negative emotions. It looks like it was that person, what they said to you. It looks like it was what you read on the internet or what you saw on the news. Remember, it's not that. It's you. There's a program running in you, and that's what's causing you to feel the way you do. So we want to take back the power that we keep giving away to the mirror, the reflection in the mirror. We want to bring it back home, and the way we do that is by watching, being vigilant, and watching for negative emotion in ourselves, and then realizing, having that aha moment, right? The aha journaling technique that we talked about, where you can actually write this down. Write down whenever you're feeling a negative emotion. Write it down quick. What is it? I feel hurt. I feel fear. I'm worried. I feel angry.
Yeah.
That person's making me angry. That situation, I'm upset about it. Or I feel depressed. I feel despondent. You know, whatever the feeling is, write down the negative emotion. Don't let it just keep staying there and you keep feeding it and you just keep reinforcing the matrix. Write it down. Make it conscious. Don't react. Whenever you feel negative emotion, pause for a minute. Breathe. Let go. Come into this moment. You'll notice you weren't even breathing. You're breathing so shallow. You want to breathe like a baby down into your belly and let yourself be brought into this moment here and now. Relax. Now, from here, take action.
Yeah.
Don't just react when you're feeling the negative emotion. Otherwise, you just feed the matrix. Otherwise, you just keep yourself stuck in fear, doubt, and disbelief. So one of the key things is recognize when you're feeling negative emotion and don't react. Come into the present moment. Breathe. Listen to the silence. Get still. Break your state. Change. If you have to remove yourself from the situation, do it. Go to the bathroom. Take a break. Step outside. Get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Don't keep feeding it. And what you'll slowly do over time is, as you don't feed the program has no more energy. It needs your life energy. If you don't give it airtime, if you don't play the program, it falls away on its own. And now you're free from that. And now your energy is free. You're free, and you're no longer just reactive. So that's one big thing. Another big thing is to take time out for yourself every day, so at least a few minutes. You can fit a few minutes in somewhere to be still, to be quiet. Whether you're sitting outside in nature, whether you're going for a walk, or whether you're just sitting in a chair at home, in your kitchen, at work, at school, wherever you may be, take a few moments to just quiet everything down. Let go of everything. Enter your closet and close the door. Let the whole world go and just be present. Because when you do that, you tune into the whole. You tune in, and basically you access that place in your subconscious where then you are beyond the programs and you can change the programs. And so you're no longer feeding them, and you begin to realize your unity with all that is.
Yeah. Becoming the one.
Becoming the one.
Right.
Being the one that we always were. That we, and it's not something we need to make happen.
Yeah.
It's something we allow to be welcome by getting ourselves out of the way.
Exactly.
By doing the things that no longer feed. Remember that with the two wolves? Remember, what was that story?
Yeah.
The old Cherokee Indian telling his grandson.
The good and evil within them, yeah.
And so there's two wolves at a battle within us. And so the little boy asked, well, which wolf? One is evil, one is good.
Yeah, which one are you feeding?
Which one's going to win?
Yeah.
Whichever one you feed. And how do you feed it? Through your attention, through your energy, through your focus, through your thoughts, where you put your focus. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows, and your life-giving awareness flourishes that area of your life.
Yeah. Best thing, oh man, the Matrix. I mean, the Wachowskis with the Matrix and also with Reloaded and Revolutions, which I think there's definitely time to go into those at some point as well, because those both carry their own weight.
There's some
but
deep principles.
they know how to get your brain pumping. Like, it's such a thought-provoking time, and I'm only excited to see what the fourth one's gonna hold, because I believe that they always have a story. And
when is this fourth one?
so it's supposedly not coming out till like 2022. But Jonathan Groff's supposedly in it, Priyanka Chopra, like it's gonna be big, and then Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss are both coming back for it as well.
Oh,
So
that's great.
I'm only excited to see the continuation of how do we keep fighting the Matrix? Like, what is it? Yeah, which is gonna be great. So we're gonna talk more about
Breaking
the second
free.
and third one. But yeah, this is just about being the one and breaking free from the
Being
Matrix.
one, realizing you're the one. Again, you don't want to push or pull. No need to fight it. No need to run from it. Be present, stand. There's always that third option, which is presence. So, no longer being reactive to life like a puppet on a string, like Pinocchio, just reactive, but being present, cultivating presence, entering that state of grace where you become the answer. You become the solution. Why? Because you are the one. You are connected with the one. You are the one, and the one flows through you.
Yeah, kind of like a neutral gin.
A neutral gin, yes.
Just wait. And listen.
Wait and listen.
Yeah.
And allow the right response to happen all on its own.
Yeah.
Lao Tzu said, remember with the muddy pond, can you be patient long enough for the mud to settle?
Yeah.
And the water to become clear, your mind to become clear, and the right response, the right reaction just flows through. Why? Because there's no more resistance and you're plugged into it. You're just one with all the universe. And then now it's the one breathing you. Now it's the divine living you. And it's just the right response, always appropriate. And it's not just the right response from your perspective so that you win, so that you get what you want. It's the right response for everyone. And how could you possibly have known that unless you're one, unless you're being the one, Neo? You're one with all that is.
Yeah. That's great. No, this is amazing. We are definitely going to come back and talk about Reloaded and Revolutions, because I think that there's enough there. And hey, maybe further down the line we'll learn more about the Matrix 4, like what is it and what is Christoph doing in it too? More important things that I want to know.
Is Sven in there too?
Yeah, Jonathan Groff is part of it. Yeah, no, Jonathan Groff, great. I can only emphasize that enough. But first off, see The Matrix if you haven't seen it.
Haven't watched it.
It's great. Also, if you are interested in more things like The Matrix, we also talk about Inception in our last podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, check that out.
A lot of similarities.
Very, very close to each other.
Inception, the idea of planting the concept of planting an idea in the subconscious mind in such a way that the individual believes it's their own.
Yeah.
So that it grows naturally and organically. It defines who we are, and it's a very powerful concept.
It's so good. It's such a good movie. They're both amazing films. This is InnerMedia, so we also talk about other things. Our first podcast, we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is amazing. Clearly, some Avatar: Last Airbender stuff got thrown into this podcast as well, because it's only natural for us to talk about the greatest TV show of all time. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening to InnerMedia. We release every Thursday, so make sure you keep on tuning into that. We talk about other films, TVs, movies, and we want to know what you guys are interested in us hearing. If there's something you watch and you're like, wow, this is really profoundly spiritual, please send it to us. Let us know about it, because we
like to watch.
We want to watch things that make us be like,
talk about
oh my God, we're in the Matrix. Like, I want to feel that way right now.
Oh God,
it's great. Yeah. So every Thursday, and if you want to learn more about the Real You itself, check out therealu.net, which is TheRealu.net. And we just want to keep on talking about good movies, and we want to make sure that you are watching good stuff, because it just makes you remember spiritual truths, and that's what we're doing here on InnerMedia. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.